You found the coolest place to be, the PlayStation Collecting Season. Come on, won't you sing with me? Welcome to the show. Gather round the boys and girls, collectors from around the world. Let's show the people what they need to know. Welcome to the show. Gonna talk to guests, only got the best. Gonna put their knowledge to the test. Gonna laugh and eat, gonna listen to dreams. Gonna show you things you've never seen. Gonna sing the song to the break it on. Gonna rock this party all night long. So come on everybody, let me see you dance. Get yourself ready, you got one more chance. You found the coolest place to be, the PlayStation Collecting Season. Come on, won't you sing with me? Welcome to the show. Gather round the boys and girls, collectors from around the world. Let's show the people what they need to know. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show.
And we were muted. How you doing, everybody? My name is Joe Rad. Welcome to the show. This is the PlayStation Collectors Podcast. This is episode 34 of season 3. And tonight we have BlakRanger joining us. How you doing, buddy?
I am doing great, Joe. Thanks for having me on. How you doing out there, everybody?
Oh, man. I'm doing well, and I'm glad you're joining us. We had to reschedule last time, so I appreciate you being flexible and looking forward to it. So, yeah, why don't you just introduce yourself a little bit? Tell everybody who you are, what you like to collect.
What's up? What's up? What's the word? That's what I say. It's your boy, the BlakRanger. As the title says, I'm the flyest bird, you know. I just enjoy collecting mainly retro. I do a lot of my favorite system. What I'm going for a full set right now is the Nintendo 64. Some love it, some hate it, but I loved it. Has a very sentimental value to me as well. But I do just love collecting stuff that interests me. I think right now the biggest thing outside of N64 is the Switch, trying to get all the Walmart deals that everybody's talking about. And then really just anything I find. I like to do a lot of thrifting and pick up anything I can find at GameStop for cheap, which I had stopped going. And I was like, I'm paying for a pro membership, so I should go. But that's what I do. You see a lot of that on my YouTube channel at BlakRanger, no C. A lot of thrifting, video games monthly, or just pickups. And yeah, that's all I'm doing. I'm just out here trying to have fun.
Yeah, man, I checked out your content. I've watched a lot of your videos. It's good stuff. I like the video games monthly stuff too. That's fun. It's kind of just exciting. Like, you know, it's like getting your own loot box every month. See what you get.
Appreciate that.
You like the service so far? You've been getting good games?
I do like it. Sometimes I'd say most of the time it's really not about the value in the box, even though I do like to get my money's worth, but it's really about the excitement and the joy of seeing what's actually in the box. I like to do the blind reactions as I'm opening, of course, and that's just fun for people to see. The hardest part is me being lazy and updating my list. But matter of fact, as I actually rearranged my game room earlier today. I was like, I got to make it look nice for the pod. And it's
sweet,
actually the side behind the camera. It's not even this side. I got a whole little Nintendo wall now, and I rearranged that. And I found from Video Games Monthly, like, I have a few duplicates that are all my fault. And I was like, yeah, definitely all my fault.
We all have a few duplicates because of that.
It's the worst. But I was like, the good thing is, although most of them are, $2-3 game shovelware, I can just use them for some type of trade bait or trade value to just get some other cheap end stuff. Trading. I think most of them are like, I had like a Hey You Pikachu and some stuff like that. And I'm like, well, I could trade it in and make sure as I'm going for the N64 set, I can at least probably get like shovelware, sports games and stuff like that out the way with those. So definitely doing that.
Well, that's the smart way to do it. Like, And there's lots of times I'll buy bundles of games and I buy stuff just knowing, even if it's stuff I don't want, like that's still all trade worthy or valuable in some way, and I can always use it to get something else. So if these days, if I see a bundle of games that's a reasonable price and there's one or two games in it even that I want, I'll buy the whole bundle and just keep them and hold them and trade them, or go to the thrift store, trade them in, or GameStop or something like that. So like you said, you do the Power Up membership or whatever. I know that you can. Do they still give good value for trade-ins with that? Because they used to give you, if you had the membership, it was pretty good, I thought. I don't know.
Yeah, there's a slight difference in some of the, I would say, better games. Like even the cheaper ones, you might get maybe $1 or $2 more, which definitely helps. Especially when they have those sales going on. Last time I have some stuff that I picked up that I was like, I hadn't been in a while, and I just stopped in like, hey, let me just go in here. Picked up some great stuff actually for very cheap. And even was like, well, shoot, I'm buying from y'all. Y'all got some free stuff in here? Y'all got any merchandise or any displays y'all throwing away? And they did. And that was pretty great. So I do enjoy that part.
That's definitely one. And good thing about GameStops is that if you do go there a lot and the people and you develop a relationship, like you can get kiosks and standees and displays and promotion items and stuff like that. And sometimes, honestly, that's the coolest stuff to have in your collection because it's uncommon.
Definitely.
Like you having some strange promotional thing that nobody else has, especially if it's a game that you're really into. That's cool.
Yeah.
I've talked about this before. Like this show's just a broken record at this point. I just talk about the same stuff, but like after a while, like collecting games, if you're really into it, like collecting games is fun, but you almost get more excited about stuff that's kind of like in the hobby. Like you get like posters are really cool and strategy guides and magazines and standees and statues and like that whole world of collecting is really cool too, and dangerous and expensive.
Very much so. But those statues, those display pieces and stuff like that, it's like everybody's not gonna have that. Everybody might have the game, but everybody doesn't get lucky enough to have the display. I know I get so mad sometimes with like Targets and Walmart, be like, they tell you to throw them away, and you say we can't give them away because we have to throw them away. And I remember I used to watch old episodes of Pixel Game Squad, but they used to dumpster dive for like the old displays that they would throw away. And I was like, I'm not opposed to that, especially if I know like the cool stuff, like with the Princess Peach stuff out now and all that. I would take all of that.
Yeah. I'm not above that beyond. But if there's anyone listening to the show that does work at these places, do God's work. Break the rules. Be a rebel. Do what you have to do. Take those home. Save those. Like nobody's, it's worth it. Even if you lose your job, it will be worth it. You're saving history.
It'll pay off.
Yeah.
You can get one check out of it.
So that's pretty cool that you're going for the N64 set. Just so you know, before you get out of the way, some people nervous. It's called the PlayStation and Collectors Podcast. I think I'm like against Nintendo or something, but I love Nintendo and Xbox and everything else too. So totally down with collecting all that stuff. So
and the funny thing is like, I'm going for the complete N64 set. I have an N64 wall. The coolest part of my collection right now, or my man cave arcade area, is my PlayStation stuff, because I actually took, and I was like, the best part of some games, like the trashy games, is going to be the artwork sometimes. And half the time, like right now, you see the spine of the game or anything, you just see the name. So I've taken, and in my pool area, with my pool table, I have all the games lined up across the ceiling, so you can see all the artwork for all the games. I took all the games out the cases and put them in a CD book, but it's just lines and lines of PlayStation and Xbox games. And when people come down there, like, oh, that's tight. Like, so I can actually look up here and see what games I want to play. And I'm like, yeah.
It's like a menu. You're like, that one. That's the opposite of what's like in my room when I was like, let's play this game. I'm like, oh no.
Where is it?
Shoot. Like there was a point in time where I had it all organized, but that was long ago. That was many purchases ago.
Yeah. So, like people be like, man, I don't know how you keep all this stuff in order, how you find it. I was like, that's really the hardest part. I will start buying stuff and be like, geez, I have to organize this again. And who has time to do that? Like, who wants to just sit down and organize them again, or put them up. Like I was laughing when I did the reorg today. It's literally a poster I put up that I got maybe 8 months ago. 7, 8 months ago. I actually sent it to a video game votary who was on here a little while ago.
Marcus.
And he was
It's
like, I'm
coming on
proud.
again soon.
Yeah, he was like, I'm proud. You finally put it up. And I was like, yeah. It took a while, but I did it. And it took all of like 6 minutes. It's a
I've
long.
had this poster like hanging in here for like a good 6 months. But I want to get a little frame for it, like or something. But I'm just, life is full of things that are more important than frames. It is what it is.
As I like to say, life be lifing. And that's all life gonna do.
Yeah, we should do. I think I'm going to do an episode completely dedicated to bitching about cleaning your game room, having to dust, reorganize it. Yeah, I would actually be curious to bring on like a panel of like 10 collectors and just ask people how they organize their collection. I'm just curious, alphabetically, by genre, by year, by favorites. Like, how do you do it? Like, I bet people have all sorts of weird ways of doing this. So.
That's definitely. This is gonna sound kind of bougie, but believe me, it's not. We have people who clean the house like once every quarter or so, and I'm always scared when they come in the game room and like, please just
hello,
dust.
Mr. Fancy Pants.
No, sir.
Yeah, and I tell people all the time, hey, it's all because
that money.
My wife be like, oh, we need to get the house cleaned, and I'll be like, she be a little tired sometimes. I mean, I help, but when they come down here, I'm like, just dust. Don't even move the stuff. Like, if it's there, I'll move it. And I've come down sometimes and be like, ooh, stuff. Like
I don't think I could let anyone in my room to clean. I'd just be standing like you better not take a single manual. I will kill you. Like, no way.
It's been some time. I did have one time where they threw, they get rid of the trash and stuff. Normally it's none, but there was a video games monthly box in a stack of boxes, but this one still had the games in it, and they threw it away.
That's a tragedy. Seriously.
Yeah, it hurt, and it wasn't. That's the bad part. Like, it wasn't until like 3 weeks later, and I was like, I think they threw those away. If I had noticed that day, I definitely wouldn't have been able to get it, but nope.
So I've never had that happen, but there was one time that I traded in like a very large box of games, and I didn't realize it, but I had actually put a couple games in there that like I had not intended to trade in, and I didn't even notice. And I was like, not that they were insanely valuable or whatever, but I was a little salty after. I was like, wait a minute, where is that? Oh, no, did I? I'm like, I thought I got a pretty good value that day. That makes sense now. I wonder why my trading was still good.
I actually lost a full like piece of my collection. There was one time when I was in the military, and we used to, in our office, they were like, make it as nerdy as possible. So everybody had like, their anime stuff, and I was like, I'm gonna go the other route and do all the games. So I had like a remote control car that literally everybody who came in was like, can I buy it? Can I buy it? And I was like, no, this is from my childhood. I'm keeping this. So I had that, my Nintendo, my Sega, all this stuff. When I moved into this house and was like, I should unpack this stuff, I have no idea where the Sega or any of the games that were with it are. I found some of the games, never found the system or anything, but somehow I found 2 Dreamcasts, and I've never bought a Dreamcast in my life. Never bought a Dreamcast. I don't know where either of them came from.
Well, so I don't know if you know this. There's actually a magical Sega fairy that comes in the night and turns Genesises into Dreamcasts. If you're good enough throughout the year and you pray to Sonic enough, not what I'm talking about.
I must have got enough rings, and
that's right.
They switched it over. I'm still baffled to be like, where is it? I found the 32X, but not the.
Do you know what else is missing? Figsy.
Dun dun dun.
That's right. So where is Figsy? I know everybody's been wondering. If you haven't seen the last few episodes, Figsy is currently traveling the world, trying to become a master at GeoGuessr. He said he's learned all he can learn from Google Maps, and now he's hitting the streets to be a man of the people and to learn the culture firsthand. So last week, first week, he was in France. So there's Figsy enjoying himself in France. He was having a good time. And then last episode, he had actually hopped over to Spain. He was doing a little sightseeing in Spain. Looks like really into it.
Very much so.
And then this week, he just sent his latest update. If you guys can guess where he is. So where do you guys think he is? It's a tough one. That's right. He's in Arizona. No, it's Mexico. That's where Figsy is this week. So in case you guys are wondering, that's where he is. He's going to keep us updated as he travels the globe. Yeah, that's where's Figsy for the week. So thank you
I
for
hope he took
humoring me.
bottled water.
Oh yeah, no, he's definitely well hydrated. He's from Australia, and so like when he needs to go to the store to get milk, he has to travel through the outback like 16 miles, and like he's got to fight off kangaroos and wallabies and Tasmanian devils. So yeah, he's always well hydrated. Keeps like an elephant gun, and like I'm pretty sure he's got like a net.
I thought I saw him in Jumanji at one point in time. I feel like
that's where he's from originally. Yeah, actually, that's where he emigrated from. Jumanji. This is, it's funny. Jumanji comes up on this show kind of often. It's not the first time. Oh, so good. Anyway, so the actual theme of the show this evening, which I thought would be fun, is I noticed that some of your pickups videos you talked about picking up some sports games, and you said that that's something you're into, and so I just figured this would be a great thing to talk about because I don't think sports games get enough love in the collecting world, and I know that there's people out there that love sports games because it's like the most popular thing in the world. So
absolutely. And I think the stigma with sports games is people are like, well, there's literally one every year. Like they have to update the games, and there's literally one every year. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, I can understand that, but there's literally just like a little difference. I even remember like, Madden went and now you got the quarterback sense, so now you can see there's a view. And if your quarterback sucks, it's this big. But if you had Peyton Manning, it was this big. It's like they changed that and create. So like sports games has always been, that was really kind of one of the first type of games I played. I remember, I think the first sports game I ever played.
For most people, I feel.
Yeah. And my first one was 10-yard fight on the NES. And nice. I still have the same exact copy I had as a child up there somewhere. It's probably that one where my finger is right there because it's a number. And I remember playing that, and it was just so fun to me. I think I had Joe Montana quarterback game, and I just always played 10-yard fight. And I was never good at them. I just liked playing them. Well, 10-yard fight, I was decent. I could win games. But when it came to later on and, play me in Tecmo Bowl. And I was like, you guys really play this. Like, you know what you're doing.
Tecmo was a good one, too.
I just pick a play and hope for the best. My brother-in-law, when I set up my basement, he came over here, and I didn't have Tecmo Bowl, but I had Tecmo Super Bowl, and he came over and wrecked me multiple times.
Yeah.
And I was like, he was like, I do this. He was like, and I was like, I mean, you're older, so you grew up on this. But he was like, nah, son. I'm like, nah.
I live, breathe, and die this shit.
Every bit of it. And I was like, I understand that, but I just love like sports games. Like I said, they come out every year, so they don't get enough love, but they're fun. Especially, I think my favorite sports game is NBA Street Volume 2.
Oh yeah,
I had so much fun playing that.
PS2 or did you play on PS2 or?
PS2, yeah.
Okay.
I had so much fun playing that. I used to go to my friend's house, and I didn't own the game, but I had my save player on my memory card, and we used to be like, "Oh, let's get a multi-tap." Like we put our little money together, bought a multi-tap. So his other friends would come over, and we would work. Like we had it set up where we were the greatest duo in NBA Street Volume 2 history. Even to the point where both of us just got the game again recently, within the last year or so. And he doesn't have a PlayStation 2. but he'll be like, "Just bring the PS2 over here. I got the game. Bring the PS2 and the memory card."
That's funny.
And we have a ball. Like sports
Mhm.
games are fun. It's the competitiveness.
Yep.
But also knowing like it's still just a game. Like I'm not about to get out on the court and do, an icebreaker, but or a game breaker. But
Mm-mm.
I just sports games are fun. I don't know
Yeah, I
why.
think that's a really good point you make, and that's one of the things that I realized I think I like about them too is that if you have a group of friends specifically, or if you grew up with like a lot of brothers or sisters or something, and you had someone to have that little competitive edge with, those games are so much fun. So
Absolutely.
like they can definitely be fun solo as games. I know there's franchise modes, and I'm not saying like if you didn't have a group of friends, but I feel like people who really like those styles of games. Same thing with fighting games. I think it's like a very similar thing. Like if you have like a lot of fond memories of those games, it's mostly because you had a group of people that you were playing with a lot. And that's why those games are so good. Yeah, like taking turns, like playing hockey, playing football all the time back in the day. Like you said, like we used to get together in groups and just like have little tournaments and just play and stuff like that. And oh man, it was a blast. Love doing stuff like that. Like when I started, for me, like I started, oh my God, I think my first sports game was like on the Atari, dude. I think it was like Summer Games. It was like this insanely simplistic mix of like different games you could play.
I think
and then Fight Night was this game I used to play all the time on the Atari. It was like a boxing game, like pre Mike Tyson's Punch Out. It was like this really simplistic boxing game. And I just remember having so much fun because you could like make your character. You could like pick what he looked like, and it was pretty impressive for an Atari game. But yeah, I just remember doing that with my brothers, and then we used to play hardball on the Atari. It was like a baseball game, and like, oh God, I love baseball games. So another thing too, like, is like there's lots of really fun arcadey sports games too, and like those are amazing. And I feel like even people who are like, I'm not really into sports games, they will still like gravitate towards some of those ones that are more like you said, like the NBA Street and stuff like that, where it's not like, or like NBA Jam or something like that.
NBA Jam, NFL Blitz, where it's not serious.
Exactly.
Yeah. I don't think I've met a person who doesn't love NBA Jam or NFL Blitz. Like,
dude, Big Head Mode. How could you not have fun with that? It's hilarious. All those codes were so funny back in the day.
I remember I had one code memorized as a kid on NBA Jam. It was P-Funk mode, and for some reason I would have George Clinton playing with whatever, and I always played with the Bulls, so it would be George Clinton and Scottie Pippen, and it was just fun to see a random old man with.
For a second, I thought you meant the Parliament Funkadelic. It's like, what? Like, is he in that game? Shit, man.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun playing like that. I don't know why I knew that one code, but me and my uncle used to play all the time. That was the one game between NBA Jam and Bulls versus Blazers, which I didn't know until I was 8, 9 then. I didn't realize till 2 years ago. I was like, oh, Bulls versus Blazers were just the two teams that were in the championship that year, and the only teams you could play with were the teams that were in the playoffs. And I was like, that's why I was named differently every year. I didn't pay attention as a kid. I didn't care, but it was definitely interesting to find that fact out. And the only reason I found it out is because I have it over here somewhere. It's somewhere scattered around here.
So I think another reason that people don't like talk or care about sports games, and I really unfortunately think it's like a lot of people just care more about like dollar values of their games for their collection. Like they just don't, because they're cheap and they're readily available, they don't think it's fun to catch them or to find them. It's not like it's not exciting, but the games are amazing and they are super fun. And if you are like trying to collect on the cheap and you just want something fun and you want some games to play, I think it's a great genre to start out with. Same thing with like racing games. I say they're still relatively expensive and they're fun, man. And like they really are. Like if you like sports teams and you want to like start a season in any of those games, you'll have a good time. Another thing too that I think this is super important too is like if you're into like sports specifically, like into the history of sports, or you're interested in specific teams or something, like I'm from New England. So like I really like collecting sports games from like 2004 to like 2015.
Oh,
You know what I'm saying? So that's another thing too that I find fun. So I might not like care necessarily if I find a game that's from like 1997 Red Sox or something, but something from those eras. The teams I like are like always so OP in those
absolutely.
games. So that's something to me. Like I like buying those games because I'm like, oh yeah, this is it's got Big Poppy on this one. I'm getting this game. Got Pedro.
And it's a thing to think about. Like I remember, of course, modern gaming, you get system updates and everything. Now the players might not update as far as the team unless it's something mid-season. That updates most of the time with the games. But I remember, like, no, the team is set. This is the team you have. And then when things started changing with like the PlayStation and stuff, it was like, oh no, you can download the new roster on your memory card and upload it to the game. And I was like, what? This is a game changer. I didn't even know this was even possible. And it was like, but I like playing those old games and being like, this was the roster from that year. And let me see if I can do something with what they had. I think the last time I was exceptional at a football game was literally the first Madden for the Nintendo 64. Madden 64, I was unstoppable. And I always played from Maryland, the DMV area. So I love all DMV teams. And I will always play with the Washington, their old names. And I used to have one play I would run, and no one could stop it. I don't know why. And it was just like a halfback, uh, halfback toss, and score every time. Clinton Portis was on the team back then, and it was all the stuff. And I was like, I just like to remember those old times. Like, I can look at the old roster, see how good they supposedly were supposed to be.
Yeah,
do those things. But now it's just like, everything's about the graphics or all that. I mean, I hope if you're playing those old games, you're not thinking about the graphics because your eyes are going to hurt, especially if you play it on a updated TV. Just grab an old 13-inch CRTV. It'll make your eyes feel better.
Hell yeah, that's the way to do it, man. I've been trying to get a good CRT lately. Funny that the reason I was actually going to mention this earlier is I love all your Guitar Hero guitars, and I'm a huge I love music games, rhythm games. I'm like obsessed. Like that's one of my favorite genres too. I love music. Just love grooving. It's like a combination of my two favorite things, dude. Yeah. I freaking love music and I love video games. So you bring those things together and I'm sold, man. So
yeah.
I was telling my girlfriend, I'm like, we can play it on the HD TV and everything, but like I always feel like it's not quite right with the timing and the MS and stuff. Like you kind of have to play that on an old CRT, I feel, for it to actually be timed correctly. And I don't know if maybe I'm crazy or whatever, but I just I don't know, it just doesn't feel right. So I'm thinking about getting a CRT specifically to play Guitar Hero again.
I would 1,000% support that decision because, like I say, all the guitars here. That's one of that quickly became like one of my favorite games. All of them, like all the Guitar Hero. I think the first Guitar Hero I played was Guitar Hero 2. Just coming out of basic training and all that stuff, and come home, and my friends all have the game already. They're all good, and they're playing with guitars, and they hand me a PlayStation 2 controller, and I'm keep up. And I was like, this is wrong. I literally went out the next day. And this was one of the worst and best decisions I ever made with my gaming history. I bought a GameCube a week before. Oh, Nintendo put out a new, thing. Let me get a GameCube, and it was very cheap then. And I literally was like, no, I'm trading this GameCube in. Give me a PS2, Guitar Hero, and the guitar set. And I think they even still gave me some money back then for when I traded. I was like, yes. I wish I had kept that GameCube now, but I went home and I played the hell out of Guitar Hero, and it's definitely one of the games that I'm the best at. Like I used to be like, oh, you want to see me in a game? It's Guitar Hero.
Oh, that's sick, dude.
Yeah, that's my one claim to fame. I used to make sure when I would go travel with family or anything, if there was an arcade there, I
Mhm.
would be like, I wonder if they have Guitar Hero, and they would have the Guitar Hero like almost like Guitar Hero 3. I think they had Legends of Rock, but they would have specific songs from 3 and 2 that I
Mhm.
knew I was amazing at, and I will always play Cliffs of Dover and Stricken by Disturbed, and make sure I was in the top 2 or 3. Normally, I
Mhm.
would go for number 1, and I would usually get it on hard mode pulse. And
Cliffs of
so
Dover is such a good song. That's Eric
uh,
Johnson. As I play guitar, man, he's like a tone master.
yeah.
So good. Sorry.
And people be like, "Well, you just like it because you're a musician." I'd be like, "Well, yeah, like it does help, but
Mhm.
I just
Yeah.
it's so fun. I mean,
If you got the
most of the
groove
time,
in you,
yeah, if I'm
this makes
playing a
sense.
game, I'm listening to
Mhm.
music. So why not play a game where I'm playing the music? Like especially when I think one of my favorite things to play now was on Guitar Hero. The I guess that was World Tour when they first came out with the drum set for Guitar Hero, not Rock Band.
Mhm.
But Steely Dan's what was it? Was it Steely Dan? Go Your Own Way. Um I felt like I was playing the guitar.
Is that
Like I
Fleetwood
felt
Mac
like
or Steely Dan?
no, not and I was like, it's not so no, there's a Steely Dan song on there and Go Your Own Way by
I'm not sure. I thought that was Stevie Nicks singing that. You can go your own
yeah,
way,
and
go
I'm trying to
your.
think
But I'm not sure. Fucking, I
no,
don't
no,
know. I
the
have no idea.
Steely Dan song
The only
is
one I know Steely Dan is that sick drum. That oh god, I remember how that goes. It's got that amazing drum beat though. It's like that cool polyrhythm.
and see
Whatever.
now I feel like I gotta I gotta pull it up because I'm like
I don't remember.
uh
Sorry to throw doubts because I'm not even sure. I have no idea.
oh, Go Your Own Way was Fleetwood Mac. That's what it
Oh,
was.
it is. Okay, yeah. Because I was like, I thought that
Uh,
was Steely Dan, or
yeah,
I mean Stevie Nicks. Jesus, now I'm getting confused.
and but I'm like, what was it on? It's a Steely Dan song that I play on there too. Both of them make me feel like I'm playing a guitar. Like, oh yeah, they set it
Mhm.
up perfectly to where like I'm really strumming at the right time.
Mhm.
Then I just love those rhythm. Those rhythm games are just fun to me. It's amazing.
It's satisfying. I don't know
Yes.
how to describe it. Like when you hit everything in like a really hard part, it's such a good feeling. So my current obsession's Beat Saber. Like I can't stop playing that game. I ordered a new PC like literally just so I could upgrade my Beat Saber and get that because I can't stop playing it and I want it on PC. So
I can understand that. Sometimes it takes that, like, no, there has to be a way to keep going, get to the next level. And sometimes you got to
Mhm.
do that.
Well, I've played all the songs available, lots, and I'm like, all right, there's about 1,000 free songs I could be playing that are really fun. So it's, I don't know. It's the same thing with Guitar Hero or whatever. You can play on PC and get, your own maps, make your own maps and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So yeah,
Yeah.
me and my friends used to do that back in the day. We used to make crazy Guitar Hero maps for like crazy hard death metal songs that we liked because like nobody ever made them. So we were like, we will make In Flame songs. We'll make Soilwork songs on Guitar Hero. It was
Oh,
super fun, man. Yeah.
and it's funny because, like, in my area, in the DMV area, like,
Mhm.
well, we have our own type, we have our own music and all that other stuff, but you don't get a lot of rock or death or metal, anything like that.
Mhm.
So when Guitar Hero hit the scene and like people started playing it, it was like, oh, you guys know other music now. Like, this is cool. It was a lot of people in my area's introduction to something outside of hip hop,
Mhm.
R&B, rap, gospel, anything like that, which was cool to see. And
Mhm.
outside of like movies and stuff, but now it's like, oh, now you know the words because you want to get on the mic or do something like that. Like, it was so cool. FMC, that's my man right there, feed me chicken. But uh, Guitar Hero
Mhm.
definitely broadened a lot of people in my areas of horizon as far as music and gameplay. Because most of them, again, just played sports games. Like
Mhm.
my demographic in this area, you might not be able to find the new Madden in stores, but you'll have the collector's edition of whatever RPG or anything like that possible
Mhm.
because everybody's after the sports game. That's what's going to sell out on day one. It's going to be pre-ordered. It's going to
Mhm.
sell out. And I'm like, oh, these other games are available. I can get these. And so it's like the opposite of the gaming community is my
Mhm.
actual community, which is fun and not fun at the same time.
Well, it's fun if you're going to looking to pick up the RPGs that nobody wants, but
Absolutely.
and well, that's a cool point you made about Guitar Hero. Like it does like open people's horizons a little bit because like even to like like classic rock and stuff like that, a lot of young people maybe not would have ever been interested in, but like my girlfriend, like when she hears like wait Carry On Wayward Son, she's like, that's the Guitar Hero song, I love that song. Because she played it so many times on Guitar Hero. So
Yeah.
and honestly it blew up some bands like that band All That Remains. I think like that was a big thing for them, that song
Yeah.
6 being on there.
Yeah.
I knew lots of people who had never heard of that band until that. And same thing with Dragon Force. I feel like Dragon Force, like I remember I went to, before Guitar Hero came out, I went to like the Worcester Palladium Metal Fest show, and Dragon Force was one of the headlining bands, and I'd never heard of them. And everyone's like, do you want to stay for Dragon Force? And I was like, no, that sounds terrible. Dragon Force? Are you joking? Hell no, I'm not staying here all night to watch that. And we left. I didn't even stay. I went home. And now, like years later, I'm like, damn, man, I wish I'd stayed. I had no idea they were so sick.
Yeah.
Damn it. I thought they sounded like the name was like so off-putting to me. I'm like, nah, man. So that's back when I was a edgy, cool person back in the day. You know what I mean? Now I'm a dork and I'm like, the lamer it is, the better. I'm like, Dragon Force sounds fun, dudes. Let's go. I don't even fucking whatever.
Oh yeah. Super lame over here. And that's been the thing. Like people like you like know this, like we can like my friends have come over since I said that, but they like, let's get on Guitar Hero. And we started playing, and there have been people around that's just like, oh, we're just here, like we're having a party or something, and people just here. And they're like, French, why are you singing the songs at the same time? Like I was like, I know these songs. Like I love these songs. These are great songs. Just because you don't know it yet, but by the end of the party or something, you go home and they like, what was the song you was playing that had the real sick guitar solo? And I'm like, yeah. Now you want to listen to it when you go home.
Exactly. Now it's stuck in your head. Yep, exactly. That's exactly what happened to me with like Beat Saber, because I'm not into electronic music really. I'm an old school musician. I was always like, no, it's got to have real drums, and I want real guitars, and I want real singing. I don't want any digital. I want it to be like it was back in the day. I was like, that's how I was. And like now I'm like I just listen to the music when I'm not even playing, because I'm just like, oh man, I'm just addicted to the music. Like, I really dig it, which is surprising. I never thought I'd be so into like electronic music like that, but it's totally grown on me because of that experience. So yeah, it's good to have an open mind and just enjoy stuff. You never know.
Definitely.
See my dog in her diaper.
Oh yeah. He's like, hey.
She's in heat right now, so she has to wear a little diaper, keep everything in the house clean. So if you guys see that, just feel like I should explain that.
Like, I think Joe's potty training his dog.
No, I just like, she wears little hats too. It's a little thing we do. No fucking know. She got little vests. Sometimes I put a power glove on her. I don't fucking know. So we got a couple questions from chat for you. Who's the better Black Power Ranger, Zach or Adam? I'm assuming this is your name, is reference to the Power Rangers. Is that correct?
Absolutely. So,
okay.
Funny story. The name BlakRanger, literally, I came up with it. It was around the time when I first got on Twitter, not X, but Twitter. And I was fresh out of basic training in the Army, and I was like, I want something that kind of goes with the, Army. And I was like, well, the Army has Rangers. And I was like, cool. And one of my favorite shows there, Power Rangers. And I was like, cool, BlakRanger. I'll just take out the C so nobody would be like, oh, copyright infringement. And that's where it came from. Now, my favorite was Zach, just because he was the OG, and I literally watched from episode 1 on, and I just like the OG. And funny story, my best friend, my daughter's godfather, Walter Jones, the Zach, is his cousin. And so
That's
that was
cool.
cool to find out. Like one day he was like, "Oh, you like the Power Rangers?" I was like, "Yeah." He was like, "Oh yeah, Walt, that's our cousin." And I was like, "Huh?" He was like, "Yeah, Zach." I was like, "Really?"
I got some merch to sign if you don't mind.
I was like, I'm still waiting for that to pay
Mhm.
dividends, like him to come around. But he was like, "Nah, he be out." So like, I'm hoping to meet him at a con one day, and he'd be like, your cousin's my best friend." Like that's cool. But
Mhm.
I think they both had. I think Adam was in the better storyline, but I did just like Zach was fun. I mean, they gave him the typical stuff like go dance, go do that stuff. But that's what he always did, even before
Mhm.
Power Rangers. So that was cool.
Mhm.
And me being a dancer at the same time was like, oh, this guy is like awesome, like cool
Mhm.
representation. So Zach is my favorite. I got a lot of Zach merch over.
That's
Well, not a
cool.
lot. All my Power Rangers merch is over there, but it's a lot of Zach stuff, and it's like, yeah, I think that's cool.
Yeah, I only watched the OG show, so like I didn't even know like the reboot when they changed it all and they got new people and stuff. Like I didn't. So um, I, I was a Green Ranger fan myself. I just thought
He was dope.
dude. I want a Godzilla I can summon with a whistle. That sounds like the
Man,
shit, man. Like
my
when I was
my
a kid, I would solve all my problems. Like everything that was wrong with my life. If I just had that whistle, I wouldn't have no issues.
I have a friend right now who has the Dragon Sword. Like he has the
Mhm.
flute, and like you mess around with it. It has 3 valves on it, almost like a trumpet, which I play.
Mhm.
But like you can blow, or you can press the buttons, and it plays like the. And I was like,
This is sick.
"Oh, I'm going to steal that. Don't ever let me come to your house, because
Mhm.
when I leave, I'm taking it." But he has. I was like, "You're a behind closed doors nerd or blurred." Yeah, is all he's got helmets and swords and all this stuff. And I'm like, when did you start getting all this stuff? He was like, I just do it like cause. And now that TikTok's gotten big, he shows it on there. And I was like, yeah, like show it off. Like it's cool.
Yeah.
Don't have that part. But so that's been cool to see. Like
Mhm.
I definitely want that Dragon Zord. And I was this hold on, which one I think? This one. This
That is
poster.
so hard to do this with the camera,
Oh
dude. I do it
man.
all the time. I'm
'Cause
like,
it's not mirrored, it's flipped. So this
yeah.
one is lenticular.
Mhm.
And I got it at a convention. I bought it from Karen Ashley, who was Aisha, the Yellow Ranger, the second one.
Mhm.
And so it's the White Ranger, but if I were to move the camera, it switches between white and the Green Ranger.
That's
So
cool.
yeah, Jason David Frank, he was
Yeah.
dope.
Rest in peace, man.
RIP, yeah. He was on there forever. But those episodes of the Green Ranger, when he used to come and just destroy all of them for one, I was like, you got this one
When he,
guy.
yeah, dude. When he first showed up, so there was like this sense of mystery to him. So I love the original cast,
Yeah.
and my favorite was probably someone else up until that point. But when they introduced him, it was like, and he was like you said, he wasn't like on their side at first. Like he would fight with them and he'd mess them up and stuff, and he had to like convert. They had to convert him to his. I don't know. He was just like this mysterious thing about him that was
Yeah.
like really exciting. When there was like a new Ranger, I don't know. I
Oh,
just remember that being such a big deal back then, dude.
it was a thing. I remember I was in elementary school then, and I used to be like, I'm ready to go home after school. I used to go to my aunt's house around the corner from my house because I didn't
Mhm.
have a house key. And I used to wait. It used to come on at 4 o'clock for us on Fox Kids. And I used to just wait for it. And even my oldest sister, she would watch it with me. So I remember, him coming as Tommy Oliver coming as the Green Ranger and messing him up, and then him being on their side, and then he had to go away. Then I remember Billy looking down through that bright white light, and they're working on a new White Ranger, and he took that helmet off, and I was like, "It's Tommy again. This is awesome!" Like, I love it.
Yeah, exactly. It really was like a big deal. Like people would think we're joking. I'm like, no, this was extremely exciting. We
And
were all at school, like,
oh,
oh shit, did you see that? Oh,
yeah,
man. Like, it
and
was a
it's
big
funny.
deal.
I literally today saw these two clips back to back, and I was like, I can compare it to this thing. Somebody had put up a clip, and it was like, this will never ever be duplicated in cinema history. This is the dopest scene ever, and it was from Avengers Endgame when everybody started coming back, started coming out, and it's like and Captain America does the Avengers Assemble and he summons the hammer, and it's like, oh, that scene was epic. But when Tommy floated down as the White Ranger and took off the helmet and was like, hey guys, I was like, oh, that was the most epic scene. It's like just epicness that couldn't be duplicated for me. And it's funny because I literally watched those back to back today on Facebook Reels. I don't know why they were there back to back, but it made it perfect for me. I had a great morning watching those.
Yeah, dude, I love that stuff. Yeah, I've been showing off in the podcast the last, I don't know, maybe 6 months or so. I've been collecting some DVDs and Blu-rays and stuff like that, and I'm trying to pick up like old shows that I like. So I've gotten like Voltron, got He-Man, I got the Batman animated series.
Oh, man.
I got Venture Brothers, which isn't like that old, but I love that show. So I'm trying to pick up like some of the old animated stuff because, God, it's so good, dude. And I just kind of want to have it. It just makes me happy to own it.
They don't make stuff like that anymore. I often talk to people and I'll be like, I remember I used to be able to come home and watch regular network TV and see kid shows. Man, you gotta go. They gotta go to Nick or Universal or whatever the kid channels are to find cartoons, whatever it is. I was like 3 to 5 at home for me Eastern time was Fox Kids, Big Bad Beetleborgs, Power Rangers, VR Troopers, The Masked Rider. I used to love all of that stuff. Like I used to get that after school, and now and wake up on Saturday mornings and I have cartoons. Oh, it's just not the same. I'd be like, I feel bad for kids. They just get on social media and watch people do crazy stuff. I used to watch awesome, terrible TV.
We had real drama, all right? Okay, we lived through the Transformers movie. At least I did. That's some tragic shit right there. I mean, in the G.I. Joe, people would die back then. Like, it was a big deal. Voltron, like, that show blew me away as a kid because, like, one of the main characters dies, which I won't spoil it in case anyone wants to watch this cartoon from 30, 40 years ago. But the fact that a main character died in a cartoon, like, blew my mind. I've talked about it. I'm like, this is not for kids. This is serious. Like, that's how I felt. I'm like, it's so not. It's totally for kids. But when I was 7, I was like, wow, this is like way more crazier than the other shows I watch. It was so intense, man.
I was like, you can't put kids through this type of torment between Bambi's mom dying and then people dying on real shows. Like people don't understand. I was like, I lived through the beginning and end of some shows. Like I can remember when Pokemon first came to America and the show came. I literally have my original Pokemon card collection right here. And it's wild. Like I was like, wow, I still have some of this stuff. I remember I had that taken away in my 8th grade geometry class. I think it was. The teacher took it from me one day because somebody was like, French has Pokemon cards because I wouldn't trade a card with him. He was mad.
So yeah, sounds like something little kid would do in high school, a bastard.
But I was like,
same issue with my Pogs, man.
Oh man.
We did actually play with Pogs. That's real.
I had one. I had a green slammer that was like this thick. I don't remember what was on it. I was like, this isn't even a slammer. It feels like a military achievement coin. I was like, looking back at it now, I was like, I don't remember what it was from, but I loved Pogs.
I wonder what happened to them all. I think everybody threw them all away. I've never seen them again. They were everywhere, and now they're gone.
Like these little pieces of cardboard were all over the place, and now nowhere to be found.
I'm putting out a call right now. If anybody's hearing, if you're a Pog collector, I want you to come on the show. I know we talk about video games. I don't give a damn. I just want to look at Pogs. Show me. I want to. If is there anyone out there still collect? There's got to be. There's always somebody who collects
Somebody has
something.
them.
It's
Somebody
always.
has them.
It's one thing I've learned that there's always someone out there somewhere collecting something that is weird as hell for no reason. Like they're
Absolutely.
like, I collect,
And
irons. I like irons. I have irons from 1910 and irons from 1920, and I have iron. And you're like, okay, I don't know, just like
well,
them.
these are first generation safety pins, okay? And
Yeah.
if you didn't know,
Mhm.
see, first and second, the needle's a little bit sharper because they didn't want people to hurt themselves that bad and be like, people really do this.
Oh yeah, there's like a whole fan Reddit thread about it, and it's like, yeah, there's a science to it. It is what it is. And you know what? I'm not judging because those people probably look at my room and they're like, why wouldn't he collect irons and safety pins? What the hell's wrong with him? Like, what a weirdo. Why would he collect games? What the hell?
Like I've lived my collecting life through different things. I almost blame my grandmother a little bit for my collecting like spirit,
The bug. Mhm.
the bug, because I didn't collect anything, and my grandma was like, "I want you to have something that you can kind of pass down and stuff." And she gave me a stamp collection, which I've
Mhm.
never added to, but it's one of the. It was like a Reader's Digest. I remember people used to get those and collect those,
Oh
but
yeah,
a
I used to
Reader's
have those.
Digest stamp collection, and
The
it's
jokes were solid. I don't care what anyone says.
for sure.
Every time I read all them jokes.
But I have this massive stamp collection in my office upstairs, and it's like, oh, this is cool. But it's two big burgundy
Mhm.
binders full of stamps, and the stamps actually have the story. So it's like the first edition of a bunch of major stamps. Like this is the
Mhm.
first time this was printed, and it's like, oh, I think in the collection there are 4 actual gold stamps. Like if I pull it out, I could probably just sell the gold for however much that would be worth. But it's like cool. So when that started, she was like, I want you to have something. And from then after that, it went on to like, oh, Pogs and Pokemon cards. And then when I got
Mhm.
older and had money, it was like, oh, I'm collecting tennis shoes and hats. So I
Mhm.
have a massive amount of those to the point
Mhm.
where it was a bad habit. I would get off of work back when I was in the military. I would get off in every other Thursday because that was the first of the 15th payday. I would go to my friend who worked at a shoe store, and I
Mhm.
would leave from base and go straight to the store where he worked and stay there till closed. And I used to walk in and I used to be like, hey, French, we have a box of snapback hats behind the counter for you. And this is before everybody started wearing them again. And I wouldn't look at them. I'd be like, how many are in there? I count them. I didn't care what team, nothing. And be like, all right, ring them out. And if shoes came out every weekend or every Thursday, I was buying whatever
Mhm.
came out, to the point where I was like, okay, I really have to slow down.
Oh, you're
And
gonna have a storage problem. That's where
uh, yeah, and
eventually.
when
I mean, I'm at the point now where like I just kind of can't keep going nuts because I just
yeah.
don't have room. So.
And it's like, so. And after the shoes, I like was like, I gotta stop. I need to
Mhm.
start saving up. Like I want to buy a house, get married, all that stuff. And the bug had gone away. I was doing pretty good. And then right before COVID hit, I was
Mhm.
like, oh, I'm unpacking the stuff because we moved in the house, and I'm like, look at all these games. I want some more stuff. I want to get, and whew, then I got the itch. And I
Mhm.
couldn't I couldn't get rid of it with a shower or a bath, nothing. The itch was there. I was just,
Mhm.
let's keep going. Let's go. I'm going thrifts, pawn shops,
It's
game
fun.
stores, wherever. And the really sucky thing is there are no game stores here. None.
Yeah, it does suck.
The best I can do, I go to the biggest name store is East Starland here, and a lot of people do that online. And I was like, I might as well do it because it's about an hour and some change away. And people are like, but you're in Maryland, it's in Virginia, and I'm like, man, but it's deep, like deep in Virginia. I gotta travel.
Mhm.
And even if I go to the stores, a lot of stores that Brandy, Gamer Aimer, or video game voter we go to, I gotta travel to get to them. So I've
Mm.
met with them at a few different stores, but it's like, oh, you guys drove like 25 minutes. I had to pack an overnight bag here to get here.
Yeah, you
Still-
guys got here and you bought everything before I showed up. What the hell?
It's like it sucks. And we had one here, and I ended up finding out that the owners like broke up. Like they didn't want to be business partners anymore. So one of the guys rents 4 booths at the Amish market and has it jam packed with stuff. It's so much stuff that it just looks like the junkyard from Sanford and Son. It's
Okay.
so many games, toys, comic books, and it's literally just 4 different fronts. He has inside the store
You heard
and
like
outside.
angel music when it, like little light came down,
Yeah,
and everything was marked $1.
I wish
No.
they use eBay pricing.
Yeah, I know. So it is these days.
And they look for the highest sold listing they can find. Not even current. Like this sold for 300, so I'll give it to you for 280. And I was like, sir, that sold for 300 6 years ago. Okay, it's worth $17 now.
Yeah, and it was also mint condition, sealed, brand new, and yours is like cracked in half, missing the manual, and covered in boogers. What the hell's your problem? That's another thing that people they just say, "Oh, I have this game; it's worth 500." I'm like, that's a perfect condition game. Yours is not. Like,
They'd
I
be like,
just
I have
don't.
this Mario game here that I'm, I'll just take 60 for it. I'd be like, that's Mario Lopez. That's not even Super Mario.
What the friggin' hell game is this? Sorry, Saved by the Bell. Dude, there should be a Saved by the Bell game. If there isn't,
That would be
that
awesome.
should exist. That should be.
Oh man, I
that
feel
should
like
be
that
limited.
would be like
That'd be a
great
good
game.
limited run games thing because they're doing those new retro games.
Yeah, and they would have to make it like not very pixelated. It could be about maybe 32, 64-bit. It doesn't have to be great graphically, but I wanted to look awesome. That would be so fun. Saved by the Bell game. I would just
Heck
wait
yeah.
till I got to the level where you get to do the driving tests with AC Slater and Zach Morris crash the car. I'm waiting for that level.
And like Screech can be like a spoiler. It comes in and screws you up every time. You know what I mean? Just like throws traps down and messes you up and just nothing good.
Yeah.
And then, speaking of limited run games, did you hear about the drama?
No, I didn't.
All right, so basically, it's all over Twitter right now, and people are making YouTube videos about it because it's a slow news week. But basically, they just shipped out some collector's edition games for the 3DO. It was the Plumbers Wear Ties games in the game D, and apparently people were trying to play them on their 3DOs, and some of them weren't working. And so people like tested them to see, what's going on, like what was on the disc. And it turns out they're just like burned CDRs. Like you would buy it like Best Buy. And they slapped a label on it and threw it in a fancy box. And they sold it to people for $70. And there's a lot of people that are very upset about that.
I can imagine they would be. Sure. They're like, if you read the packaging, it actually says game disc included, but game not. There's no game here. It's just a pretty collector's edition. We never thought you'd open it.
So I'm like the least informed person on earth when it comes to the 3DO. Like I don't even want to know. That system's terrible as far as I'm concerned. I'm sure there's people out there like, I love the 3DO. It's my favorite. All right, I know it's great, but to me, I have no interest at all. So I guess like there are different models of it. Like different companies made different versions of it, and some of them will play the game and some of them won't, or something like that. So it's not like none of them will, but I don't know. Either way, like if it's advertised as a 3DO game, like you might want to mention that it might not work in all the systems.
Yeah.
Like, because if they make Nintendo games and they sell them to people, like you're expecting it to work in your Nintendo, correct?
Absolutely.
They sell you a Game Boy game, you're kind of expecting it to work in your Game Boy, correct? It just, I mean, again, I don't know all the technical aspects. Maybe that would be impossible, but I don't think so. I'm sure that like all the 3DO games that came out worked in all of the 3DOs back then.
Yeah.
I doubt they had that issue. Maybe they did, but I don't know. Just find it a little questionable.
They're like, oh, it's not region free. It only works in New Hampshire. If you bought it in New Hampshire, it will work, but anywhere out of there, Sears didn't have a good 3DO. You can't play the games on that one. You had to buy it at Funko Land.
So the first thing I'll say about it is it's obviously that's not cool, and they should have advertised that. But I do think it's funny that like there's like this big group of people who are like making videos and complaining about it online. I'm like, how many of you people bought Plumbers Wear Ties on the 3DO? I'm like, what did all 6 people who bought that fucking game complain about it? Like, no offense, but who bought that? Like, I bought the PS4 version because whatever. But like, I don't know. I just can't imagine that's a huge population of people.
No.
So, and then people, all these YouTubers make videos. And I'm like, you would never have bought this even if it worked perfectly. You would never have bought it. It's not like
it's a good topic to talk about. Somebody's gonna click on it, but you don't even own a 3DS. Like, I don't know many people who do. I know I've seen one in person one time, 2 times, once in the store, once in the game room. Outside of that, I didn't know they existed until I started a YouTube channel. Say what you want about me. I don't care. I'm the worst gamer you'll ever see. But I had no idea they even existed until then. I was outside as a kid. I didn't know these things existed.
Dude, don't feel bad. We do this quiz on this show all the time, and there's stuff I'm like, I don't know. You figured I'd know. I'm into games quite a bit, but there's so much to know. This hobby is infinite. It truly is. Like, if you love games, there's more games that you could research and take a look at that never play in your lifetime.
Yeah.
You know, I recently got into like old 8-bit computer stuff. Like, I'm checking out old Ataris and Commodores and Amiga and stuff like that, and Sharp computers from Japan, all that stuff. And like, there's thousands and thousands of games on those systems that I never experienced and never, so it never ends, friend. Like, so just pick something you like, focus on that, and that's all that matters. You don't need to know it all. It's not a competition.
Well, for some people it is, and that's where the collecting piece gets a little scary. It's a competition, but you got to have the coolest or the most expensive. I want to have the most fun. I want to have the most fun for me. So I could care less if you like the game or not. If I think it's fun, I'm going to have it. So that's how I try to base my stuff now. It's kind of hard.
So I think the competitiveness, I don't know, it definitely is a thing. And it can be fun. Competitives can be a good thing. It's not always a bad thing. Like, if you and your friend are both trying to complete the N64 set, and you're like, one of you is like, haha, I found 3 this week. And you're like, oh, I found 4. Yeah, that's fun. That ain't the end of the world. It can be good. But if it's like actually affecting your self-esteem in some way or something, you need to relax, because it's not that important.
You would never believe this game I found. I only paid $60 for it. It's super cheap. Now I'm very hungry because I didn't eat, but I got the game. Don't do that.
Yeah, so there's lots of people have games that I would love to own, and I'm jealous that I would love to have it, whatever. But at the same time, I'm like, I ain't dropping that type of dough on that game now. I would have loved to have gotten it 2014, and I would have picked it up back then, but I didn't. So now it's like, I ain't worried about it. If I really want it, I'll trade for it if I really do, and maybe I will someday. But by the time I get to the point where I'm trading for that stuff, I mean, I've gotten everything else that's cheap. So and I'll look. If there's a game I just want to play, and I'll just play it some other way. I don't have to have it in my collection.
And that's been, of course, the biggest thing right now. A lot of people is digital and physical media. Like, you can there's a way to emulate almost every game, and
It's
I'm
only
not
going to get better. It's only going to get cheaper and easier. Yeah.
absolutely, and I was like, I'm not opposed to emulating games. Why? Because even you know, we as the consumer, the companies are putting out these emulated games. What do you think? The NES Classics,
Yeah.
SNES Classic, Genesis Classic, they're all a little system with emulated games. Like,
Mhm.
I'm not opposed to that. Have fun with it. I think I told somebody, they was like, "What are you playing now?" And I was like, "Oregon Trail," and they were like, "What?" And I was like, "Yeah,
Oh.
remember from a kid when you used to play it on the old Mac computer when it
Mhm.
was a Macintosh, full Macintosh. It wasn't no Mac or Apple. It was Macintosh
Yep. Yep.
computer lab at school. We played
Mhm.
Oregon Trail, and I was like, "Yes, I play it on the Switch right now." And I had been waiting and waiting. I was like, "It's on sale. I'm going to buy it."
Mhm.
And I was like, I just super dove in. Like, this is different than what it was originally, but it's still like, hey, it's the Oregon Trail. This is cool.
It got a physical announced for the Switch.
And so I'm playing it on the Switch.
Mhm.
I was like, I'm gonna buy the digital. Eventually, I'll find the physical
I'm
and buy
definitely
it.
getting it.
Yeah,
100%. I love that game.
absolutely.
Here's the question. Do you ford the river?
So
The answer is always yes.
you have to because you really can't progress without it.
Yeah. Hey, if you lose a few kids, you lose a few kids. You just have to do it.
They make it so weird in this updated version now. It's like, oh, let's rename all these characters and you can pick your crew and now you can play as an Indian chief. And it's like some people are like,
What?
"Oh,
No, I just want it to say, Karen died of dysentery and we move on. I don't need that shit. What the heck are you talking about? Let's just go.
it's so cool and so different at the same time." I was like, I want, if I could, I would find me an old Macintosh computer just to have that software for Oregon Trail, which you can do. I'm just not going to pay the money they're asking for it. I'll just pay this quick $19.99 on the Switch and have
Mhm.
the updated version of the game.
I'm not paying big money for a computer game from the 80s, friend. That's not happening.
No, not at all.
Yeah, so I don't know. I always felt like that game was just as much fun trying to kill everybody and then it was to win. Like, I would literally have a blast just being like, I'm just not going to feed anybody. See if they make it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would just like purposely just be horrible. Like, I didn't, that was half the fun. Like, I don't know.
Man.
I guess maybe that says something about me. First of all, I should definitely not be in charge of any trips across the country. Let's put it that way. No wagon trips.
Absolutely. Oh, man. I
love
told
those.
my wife when I bought it, and she was like, "I played Oregon Trail. Don't." I was one of the cool kids in computer lab. I was like, "I'm sorry, I didn't know everybody played it. I thought I was great."
Yo, Neo Ness, what up in the house? What's going on, man?
Elliot, Neoness, you are 1,000% right. To that Green Ranger beating him out, you see him tumbling out of the Megazord was crazy. Again, those old Power Ranger episodes are hilarious because you would see the real acting and then the scenes that they stole from the
It's a Japanese show, right?
Japanese version. It's like this is a completely different set, you guys. There's no way Angel Grove looked this clean and this updated, and now this episode looks like it's like 6 years old. How did that happen?
Yeah, it's funny. At the time, you just didn't question it as much.
Not at all.
You were like, "Oh, that's just how this show is." I don't know. Looks good to me. Sushi Cat, yes, I do like Sparta, and thank you. Yeah, at the drive-in's awesome. Okay, do you know what time it is right now?
I feel like you're gonna say it's quiz time, which is gonna make me a little scared.
Yeah, that's right. It's time for the quiz, and you should be scared. No, I'm just kidding. It's not. It's not scary at all. Welcome. This is intense, right?
Oh yeah, I can actually feel the heat from from that pot bloody thing.
I didn't realize that, but yeah. Actually, no, my armpit's a little. Damn. It's burning some hair in here. No, I'm just kidding. So, because I am the best host ever,
I believe it.
I actually remembered the chat quiz this week, which I've missed for like 2 weeks in a row. Just keep forgetting to do it. So we have a question for chat where I'm going to show a picture and the chat has to guess. So you don't have to guess, Frank. Just for the chat. You guys have to look at the picture, try to guess the name of the game. You know the drill. So these are the two pictures. It's not a hard one. Should be pretty easy this week, I think. And we'll check it after the quiz. We'll check the chat to see if anybody got it. Someone's probably already got it already. Okay, so this week we have a special themed quiz for you. Earlier I asked you what your favorite game was. What your top favorite game is. One of the games you mentioned was Ocarina of Time.
Oh, yeah.
So we have an Ocarina of Time themed quiz for you this week.
Oh, man.
And the way it's going to work is it's actually just true or false questions. So I'm just going to say statements about the games. And all you got to tell me is if you think it's true or false. Sometimes they are true, or sometimes there's just like a slight detail about them that are wrong. So just, you do your best.
Oh, yeah.
I'll be honest with you. When I thought I knew a lot about Ocarina of Time, but after I looked at the quiz, I'm not sure. Maybe you did better than me.
Pretty sure we're going to fail this, but hopefully the chat fails with me. So
that's right. Well, the chat can help you out too, so it's not a problem. So, all right. So the first question: there is only one. This is true or false? There's only one amiibo that has Link from Legend of the Ocarina of Time. Is that true or false? How many amiibos have young Link or Link from the Ocarina of Time?
You know what? There are only two choices, so I'm just gonna say true because why not? I mean, the only other thing you can say is that it's false. So
solid logic. But unfortunately, you're correct. There's two, apparently.
See, young Link. See, see that makes it hard because it's like, Super Smash, but yeah, it is.
So yeah, these are kind of tricky. So like a lot of these are like trick questions. So it is. There's only one from real like Ocarina of Time, but there is one Ocarina of Time from Super Smash.
Yeah.
So
dun, dun, dun.
I got a Russian who makes these. He's very wily and tricky. Got to be careful. All right, question 2. I don't have a picture for this one, but it says, true or false? The Ocarina of Time game was supposed to have elements of a dating simulator, which is the main reason why there are so many women playing important roles compared to men. Is that true or false?
That's kind of interesting. That's something I want to look up. And you know what? Since there are only two choices, I'm going to go, when in doubt, just say true, because that's weird. And it sounds
that would be a weird thing to say otherwise. You are correct. It is true, sir.
I felt like it was too weird to just make up.
Exactly. It's very specific. But yeah, that is true. So basically there was originally going to be like dating elements in the game. But they took them out because some of the choices in the game would make like other parts of the story unavailable. So they was like too hard for them to plan, I guess. But yeah, you could have had like Persona 5 levels of dating in Zelda. It would have been amazing. You know what I mean? She'd be like, bring me a Kokokori nut or whatever the heck those damn things you cut.
If it came out later when DLCs were available, it could have happened.
Yeah. Maybe we can make that happen now. We could do some you know what we should do? We should mod Baldur's Gate 3 so Link can have sex with the bear. You know that scene I've heard about? That should definitely be something that happens. 100%. All right, what are we doing? Are we doing a quiz? Let's get back to the quiz. All right, so this game. All right, so question 3. The game was based off a heavily modified version of the Body Harvest game engine. True or false?
looking at it and seeing the moat up, kind of like how it is in Ocarina of Time, as well as the street and the hills looking just like it, I would say yes. True.
And the answer is false.
Ah, Super Mario
Apparently, it was
64.
based off of Mario 64, I guess.
Huh, they look the exact same. And I mean, it would make sense being that Ocarina of Time is on the 64 with Super Mario 64.
See, I don't even know what the hell the body harvest engine is. I've never heard of it. So, yeah. I don't even know.
It definitely looked just like the gate being raised or the moat being raised in front of the town in Ocarina of Time. So I'll give them that.
Okay, question 4. True or false? The Australian pre-order for Ocarina of Time for the N64 contains a plastic ocarina. True or false? Was that on the N64 in Australia? I know you have the Australian pre-order.
Of course, I have the Australian pre-order.
Who doesn't?
Who didn't have lightning fast internet when Ocarina of Time came out? Okay, my AOL was the fastest you could ever have, and
I used to have so many minutes, man. I had discs for days, millions of free hours.
I'm almost tired of saying true, so I feel like I want to, even though I want to say it again, but I'm tired of saying true, and I don't think he would go false, true, false, true. I think he would go false, true, false, false. So I would say false, but I wish the American version had it.
The answer is false. Well done.
Yes.
So it wasn't on the N64. It was the pre-order bonus for the Australian 3DS edition.
Fun fact: the 3DS edition, I didn't know for a while, but Robin Williams had a commercial for it, a promo commercial for it, and Robin Williams named his daughter Zelda based on the Zelda game.
Yeah, he was a huge fan.
Absolutely.
He played tons of games. There's like a lot of cool pictures of him playing like Dreamcast and shit like that back in the day. Like he was like way into it. I guess I think he was he a nerd too? Was he into like Lord of the Rings and shit too? I don't know. Either way, he was the man, dude. God, I miss that guy.
Yeah.
Question 5. The N64 Ocarina of Time was released in English in Spain, but the Spanish version included a 150-page booklet with all the in-game text translated into Spanish. True or false?
Let's just go true. It's weird. And oddly specific.
It is true. Very nice, sir. That is the dumbest way of doing things I've ever heard. You imagine them doing that now? Imagine if they like some Japanese game came out in the United States and they're like, it's just a book.
Man, just give them a book.
Just read
who needs
this.
to make an update? Just give them a book. But now I oddly want that book.
It is cool. I mean, if it's got artwork and stuff in it, I mean, it would be kind of cool. And if you speak Spanish, I mean, that would be neat, you know. But yeah, I mean, that's definitely cool.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Question 6. Oh, did I do these backwards? Oh, I hope I didn't. Okay, so the Nintendo released this limited edition on the 30th anniversary for Legend of Zelda. Is that true or false? Is this the 30th anniversary?
I'm going to say true.
It's false.
I was going to say the third. It does. And you want to know what makes it even worse? Because it says 25th anniversary on it.
Well, I just added that. So this
one. Oh, yeah. But you that
so you got it.
I was thinking about it. That Amiibo was the 30th anniversary, and that was more around the time of Breath of the Wild.
I don't even want to think about that, man. 30 years, good lord.
I just beat that game this year. I'm not gonna lie. Oh, last year. It was last year.
It's a good game, dude.
Yeah, absolutely.
Question 7, true or false? The Ocarina of Time was banned in Qatar, like Peter Pan and Robin Hood, since wearing green clothes is prohibited for men. What the fuck?
So does that whole thing have to be true, or just the fact that it was banned in Qatar?
Everything's got to be true.
Friggity frack. I'll say true because I do remember thinking it is banned in Qatar. So I'll just say true.
Apparently, that is false.
Oh, but I feel like it really is banned. But it's just
a
not the
tricky
green
Russian.
cloak thing.
It could be. It could be bad for another reason. You know what it probably is? It's probably because of that stupid little fairy that's like, hey, 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 and like all the Qatarians played it and they were like, ban this shit immediately.
I do hate Navi.
That's just a theory. It's just an amazing theory. I don't know if it's true.
But
All right,
I
sir.
do remember it being banned somewhere. Qatar might have been a place. It's crazy enough that it could be.
Who knows, man? You never know. It could be like in their country, the word link means eat shit. You never know. So it could be there's all sorts of reasons. That's not it though. Like, actually, what word in Qatari means each? No, sorry. Last question. All right, here we go. This area in the game is called the Lost Woods. Is that true or false?
That I'm gonna. I can see the great tree back there. I'm gonna say false because the Lost Woods is up top where you gotta go through the kind of maze. So I'm gonna say false.
Correct. This is the Kokori Forest.
Yeah,
Nailed it, man.
So 50% is good with me.
I was gonna say your final score is 4 correct, 4 wrong. And here on the PlayStation Collectors Podcast, that's considered a victory, sir. Congratulations.
If I was a video
Better than
game
I would.
character, that would be my dance.
Dude, careful what you. I put this shit in the intro, so you do stuff like that, you're going in. I always tell people, be careful. You do something goofy, you're gonna be in there. You're in that beginning.
I live for those moments.
That was awesome. Good stuff, man. All right, so let's go check the chat. See if the chat got the old quiz question. Let me go back up. Anybody get it? We're going way up here. Mario. Congratulations, sir. That is the correct answer. It was It Takes Two. So it was It the Clown and then the T2. So It Takes Two. Very nice, sir. Congratulations. Hold on, let me give you a little. That's for you, buddy. See, I'm not like Figsy. I'm too cheap to give out games instead. You just get like a clap and some pride. Nah. I mean, that's all you really need.
No, I don't see anything wrong with that.
No, not at all. So, a couple of things I want to mention real quick. So, first off, in the news, did you guys see that Retro Rick got hacked again? Fucking A, man.
Yeah, it was. The funny thing is, as of today, the first time I was like, let me clear out some of my notifications, and I opened up Instagram, and the first thing I saw was a post from Cincy Game
Strategies,
and it was MicroStrategies and Retro Rick's picture. I said, again? Like, is this a few weeks old? Nope, a few hours. I said, jeez. But they were on top of it this time, apparently. But come on, like how?
Thank you, Mario. Ocarina of Time is the best OST of all time. Can't argue with you.
Yeah.
Thank you for that donation, man. Appreciate it. Yeah. So the funniest comment for sure. So I'm a not a good person, and like anytime something bad happens, all I want to do is make jokes. I'm like one of those people. Like,
Yeah.
We'll be at the funeral and I'll make that joke, and everyone's like, "What is wrong with you?" And I'm like, "I don't know. It's just something. I am compelled to say stupid things. I can't help it." There's like I've tried to explain this to people. You know how people have like a little angel that pops up and a little devil that pops up. All right, so for me, what I have is I have like a little devil that pops up, and then I have like an even bigger, angrier, meaner devil that pops up. And I have to ignore both of them. I don't have any of that good shit coming in. I have them. You should say this. I'm like, oh, should I? And he's like, you should say this. I'm like, that's even worse. What the fuck is this?
I'm 1,000% that person. People tell I can't sit beside, in front, or across from French. Funerals, church, a test, school, nothing. Anything serious, don't be near French. And I'm like,
super. So anyway, what I was going to say is I refrain from saying anything and making any comments because it is a shitty situation. I'm sure it sucks and it's frustrating and it ain't funny to him. But there was one comment under that really cracked me up, and all it said was, "Oh my God, MicroStrategies got hacked by this Retro Rick guy again after he got his channel back." That shit made me laugh. That's a quality comment. I was like, I can't believe this Retro Rick guy's hacked MicroStrategies again.
I feel like I'm going to the SoCal Gaming Expo, and I know he's going to be there. I feel like I'm going to just get a random key, just buy a duplicate key at like Home Depot or something, and not get it cut or anything. Put a shoestring on it and put it around like a chain. And when I see him there, hand it to him and be like, this is where you keep your physical key. As a child, my parents told me, don't lose this key or we're going to beat your butt. So don't lose this physical key to your channel anymore or someone's going to be. It has to be stopped. I don't know how it's possible to get hacked twice in 2.5 years.
So people have, I mean, I don't know anything about that stuff. Most people think it's like something like one of his actual pieces of hardware is compromised with like a keylogger or something like that. So he's gonna have to like, I don't know, get rid of everything. You know what I think it is, Retro Rick? Is I think it might be your collection of boxed N64s that is the problem, and you'll have to just sell them cheap and get rid of them as soon as possible because they're clearly breached. Yeah, for sure. And that NES collection you have, that's all corrupted with Russian bots.
Whatever it is, I'll help. I'll take the sacrifice. I know, if somebody hacks my channel, I'm pretty sure I can get those followers back.
Oh my God,
easily.
I shouldn't joke. What if someone does hack my channel, takes all 50 subs away from me? I'll be screwed.
That would suck. Like I don't know how I would regain, but honestly, I don't know why people follow me now. So I'm sure if I got hacked, they'll follow me again. So why not?
Oh, you're funny, man. I watch your content. I think it's good. I think you're funny, dude. And you like little editing things and jokes you do at the beginning and stuff. It's good. It's interesting. Personality, man. Just be yourself. Have fun. That's what people watch.
That's what I say.
Yeah, for sure. Now, just a couple of things I wanted to mention too. We're talking about sport games, and Pavel did give me some other things. So we are a collecting show. So I just want to mention a couple games that are kind of collectible. If you are into collecting sports games, some people think that like there's nothing that's collectible or anything like that. So these are a couple games on the PS3 that are like French exclusives, I think, maybe French or Spanish or something like that.
Man.
Yeah. You guys over in Europe want to explain to me what the hell's going on here? No.
That's the first time I've ever seen Patong spelled out. But
Patong. Like somebody came up to me, whispered that in my ear, I'd have to smack him. Like, what did you say to me?
If somebody came up and said that in my ear, I feel like it would be P. Diddy. But
yeah, what happened to that guy? He was out of the news real quick. That's interesting, huh? No, we got other things to worry about. Okay. It's all right. I'm sure that all the evidence they gather, they'll be using that any day to get rid of, catch all those bad people. Anyway, another thing that's collectible that I think Figsy actually has talked about on the show before, but this is a thing called the Cyber Bike for the PS3. It is like a biking game, like a sports game where you like bike and play games, and yeah, that's the best way I can describe it. So yeah, if you really are hardcore and you want something like a nice talking piece, there you go. Cyber Bike. There it is.
That would be quite interesting. I kind of want it now.
I guess this is some sort of strange exclusive game to Australia, some sort of combination of rugby and football. I don't know. I have no idea what this is. I'm assuming it's called like Willaballa or some stupid Australian thing, like Chigarichu or something like that. I don't know. It's gonna be, but yeah, there it is. That's the game. It's probably just called rugby. I don't know. But apparently, this is like if you're like into like exclusive sports games and stuff like that, there are like cricket games and a lot of overseas games, tons of soccer games. So that's like a whole other realm. If you are into sports collecting, is the European and the Australian stuff. Lots of really cool, unique stuff to those regions because there's lots of sports that are popular over there that that
and
are really over here.
Just so you all know, that one does have the 2012 roster update.
Does it? Okay, here you go. Yeah, that's right. It's got Bill McGiven and Corey McGillicuddy, and I don't know any of these people's names. I got no fucking idea. And then real quick, I just got to mention the greatest sports game of all time. Undeniably, nobody here can argue with me. This goes without a fact. If you disagree with me, I'm sorry, you're just wrong. Clearly, if you have good taste, if you're a man of culture and you appreciate beautiful things and you know what's up, it's the best sports game of all time.
Absolutely.
I mean, I don't even have to explain it. I mean, you guys want to just see some of the greatest highlights in sports history.
Right.
I mean, come on, boys. You know what I'm saying?
Look at that athleticism.
Come on. Do you think Tecmo Bowl is better than this? I don't know, dudes.
Please.
NHL hits? I don't know, man. You don't get to see that in Madden.
Come on.
What? I have a lot of these, so I hope you guys are enjoying this. I'm trying to boost the numbers of the show somehow, and I figured this would be the best way.
You should have a lot of them because that game was nothing but highlights and hits. Like, look at that. Come on.
This should be a real game all in and of itself. Just girls in bikinis playing tug of war. Like that, and it's that. If that's all the game was, that alone would be fantastic. You know what I mean? But I mean, I just like sports. Go look at the action. Yeah.
Go sports.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's just quality stuff.
Yeah, it really.
Just remember, we have games like this, but we got to censor cleavage and Stellar Blade. Right. Makes a lot of sense, guys.
Right.
Like that, it's like this stuff. These people, they like gave up. They're just like, yeah, we're not getting rid of that. The people who like that, they're not going to listen. It's like, I don't know. But I don't want to go too off into that deep end, but the whole censorship thing blows my mind. It's like, I always find it crazy. It's like, I'll watch a show where like people will murder each other and they won't have like a murder. They won't have a murder warning, but they'll have a warning that's like, this show has smoking. And I'm like, oh,
just
shit.
got killed.
Smoking. Darn. What the hell, man? Like, it's like, why even? I don't even know. It's like, if something is rated M for mature,
let it be M for mature.
Then it's M for mature. Why are you censoring it? That's like saying you make well, I guess they do that. I mean, even horror movies, I guess, have been too extreme in the past, and they've had to tone them down for like the releases and stuff like that, I'm guessing. But I just don't agree with it, man. Yeah.
That's what the rating's for. It's if someone wants to buy this game for their child, I mean, they must not care. I mean, it's been put. There have been times where I've played a game for the first time and been like, "Oh, holy crap!" They're saying it all right here. Like the first line is just like, "What's up, fuckers?" And I'm like, "Wow, this."
Yeah, you're just like earmuffs, kids. All right, everybody out of the room.
I'm
This
like,
would be one of those headphone games Daddy
Yeah.
plays.
And it's like,
Yeah.
oh, but that's what the rating's for, and it says on the violence and nudity and graphic language. But now it's just gonna say violence, graphic language, and cars jerking around. That's the when Grand Theft Auto added that bouncing car. Whew, man, the controversy. But hey, that's
So I just think that what we're gonna have to do in the future is like game companies won't be able to make one game. They're gonna have to make a game that they want, and then they're gonna have to have like settings in there that you can turn on. Be like baby mode. Like I'm a baby. I want it to be for babies. And then they'll be like, okay, and they'll take all the naughty words, and they'll take out all the bad boobies, and they'll take out all the blood, and then you can have your little baby game the way you want it. And then you can be happy, and you can leave, people who aren't 4 years old mentally to play games that adults like. Like, what is the matter with you? Are you going to tell me I can't watch scary horror movies too with lots of blood? Oh, thank you, mommy. Like, what the hell is wrong with these people? Like, it's literally, it's like, you have people are mentally ill. Like, we can't have people enjoying stuff that I don't like. How can that be? If I don't like it, no one's allowed to like it. That's that's the attitude these people have. It's really bizarre. And they're all like, why do you care? Why do you care? I'm like, I think it's weirder that you care. I only care because you do, you weirdo. What the hell do you care if there's titties in video games? Seriously, what the hell is them? Who gives a shit? I've been playing Leisure Suit Larry since I was 10. Who gives
I've never seen those, okay? I've never seen those in person. And no one should see them in a game.
Yeah. And meanwhile, these same people, they give their 12-year-old son a phone and he has access to Pornhub 24 hours a day. But, it's the cleavage in Stellar Blade. We got to fight that. We got to stop that. Or or like when they went back and they censored Tifa's cleavage in the first Final Fantasy remake game, like 3 years after it came out. What the heck, dude? Like, why? Why
waste your time?
It's just, I
idiotic.
don't understand it. Like, it doesn't, like, it doesn't ruin my day. Like, I don't care. Like, I'm not like, oh, I can't see this video game character's cleavage as much as I want. I don't, that's not it. It's just the whole point of like the mommy state. I don't like that. I don't like art being changed by other people who are not the artist.
Yeah.
Period. Like that's just not good in any medium. Like music, I don't want it censored like that. Movies, I don't want censored like that. Games, I don't want censored. I just don't want that. Do you really want to have a committee that gets to approve and unapprove everything that, we get to see and enjoy? Like, that's crazy.
I feel like all this censorship and cleavage, like, we're going to have to shut down access to beaches for everyone because imagine the cleavage you would see at a beach. Wow, these women are just dressed so scantily.
Yeah, are they going to want burqas next? Is that where we're going? Is that where we're going, folks? Is that we're going to have all the female characters in games? We'll just have the burqa on, and that's all you'll see. Is that what you want?
Yeah, we'll just give them form-fitting ponchos. But wait, no, it can't be form-fitting because that's too much.
What they want is they want to make them ugly. Don't give them boobs. And if they do, have them put on like a restrictive thing, nothing moves. It's all stiff. Give them a big squared jaw. Make them all androgynous. Weird. It's just for who? For who? Like, and here's the thing that I don't want. Like I said I didn't want to talk about this, but now I can't. I get so mad about this stuff. Like the whole ethos behind this is they want to make games more inclusive, so more people will enjoy them. That's the saying. And then what happens is they do it and less people buy the game.
Yeah.
It's literally the opposite of reality. Right. They go, this will increase sales, and it tanks sales. So at some point, you got to ask yourself, Like, do you want to be morally correct, or do you want to have a business that stays operational?
Yeah.
Because
And even
sometimes you
even
can't have
saying,
both, I guess,
yeah, even saying morally correct. Morally correct for who?
for yourself.
Because, like you said, I mean, we wanted to be inclusive, but if they weren't playing games before, they're not gonna play your game just because you
No.
edited out a little slit right here. That little slit you edited out, and now they just have a full length shirt on. Like, we're not looking for it, but the fact that you're editing it out makes people look at it more now. Like, this was there. Why is it gonna like nobody's gonna get into games because they say women have on clothes now.
It's exactly, that's my point. There's not someone sitting on the sidelines right now going, you know, I would love to spend all my money on video games and play video games all the time, but there's too much cleavage. I just can't handle boobies, you know? I just something about that. So I guess I just won't get into the hobby.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden they go, wait a minute, look, that main character is hideous, just like me. Oh, now I definitely want to play. Like, you think that's how you think that happens? You think those people are like, wow, they have the same dumpy ass as me. Great. Fucking, oh man. That's what I'm talking about. I'm gonna buy 5 copies. It's not true, man. It's not true. But the opposite is true. Are there a bunch of horny, weird dudes out there who would buy a game because there's a hot ass in it? Yes.
Absolutely.
Clearly, the answer is yes.
I mean, even as horny guys, horny teens, as a teen, I remember on Grand Theft Auto, I was like, dude, you could pick up hookers
Hell
in
yeah.
the car rocks, and then you can kill them and take their like that. Who cared about the mission in Grand Theft Auto? I'm going to pick up hookers, rock the car, and then kill them and take their money.
Just hilarious. Yeah. And it was just funny. And they're all like, oh, this is so horrible. It's like, it's a joke. It doesn't matter. It's a stupid game. And like, I don't know about you, but like when I was a kid, like me and everyone I know, we all had posters of every hot woman we liked on the wall 24 hours a day. And guess what? Nobody was like, how dare you like attractive women? What is the matter with you? I think my dad was just like, oh, cool. He likes chicks. That's good.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah, I mean, you saw that all the time. Oh, Pam Anderson here, Carmen Electra here.
Yeah.
That's like
Jennifer Love Hewitt, Melissa Joan Hart. Come on, boys. Come on, boys.
They never took off. They never took Baywatch off. Speaking of just hot chicks, I think I was watching Boy Meets World the other day, and Topanga. She was just great. So I went off. It made my hat go crooked.
So there's so I actually, so one of the things I think is funny about censorship is, you know, I think that we should go the other way with it. I think that we should actually demand more sexy models. Like, I think they complain about like unrealistic body shapes and shit. I want a Nicki Minaj fucking download for that game. I want her ass in there. Let's go. You want to see an unrealistic? Put that in there. That's realistic. Bang, bang. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want it to be even more ridiculous. I want it, like, that's the way I react. So, in my opinion, the best way to deal with anything is when people try to push you around and control you is push back as hard as you possibly can. 10 times as hard as they tried to push you around. That way they will just never, ever try again, because the reaction they got was so unpleasant that they won't do it. That's the only way to deal with it. And so that's why they're so mad right now. And that's where all these people are so upset, is because for the first time, people are finally like getting organized and being like, you know what? Screw you people. We're done. You want to be assholes? That's fine. We're going to get organized, and we're just going to keep track of you and everything you work on, and we're not giving you our money anymore. Have fun. Enjoy capitalism.
Exactly.
And they know that's the end. It's over. They know that this only works as long as people aren't organized and people don't stand up against them, and they just let people bully them. Bullies, as soon as you stop letting yourself get bullied, their power becomes immediately evident they don't have any, and it just evaporates like that, and the whole con game falls apart, which is what's happening now. It's at the point now where You know, they're like, this game's terrible. Hogwarts Legacy, yep, for #1 game selling of the year. Stellar Blades, terrible, blah, blah, yep, highest rated game ever on PS5. So, like, people are so sick of these fucking people that, like, literally everything they say or do, the opposite. People just will literally, like, if I was a game company, I would go to Kotaku and I would go to IGN and I'd be like, hey, can you guys purposely say my game isn't woke enough?
Bash it, please.
Could you purposely come out and say that you guys think it's not, there's too much sexism in it and it's too much of this? Just say that you hate everything about it, because if you guys come out and say you hate everything about it, it will be the #1 sold game. I would literally pay them to say they don't like my game at this point, because that's how much they're disliked. They they don't realize that they're like, no, everyone likes me. It's like the Principal Skinner is like, is it me or is it the children that are wrong? No, it must be the children. No, it is definitely you guys.
Definitely you, yeah. And it's so funny, like you see the two ends of the spectrum. Highly anticipated, highly talked about, highly praised games, and when they come out, then people are like, well, I did catch this flaw though. I mean, it's great, but this was a little off, as opposed to this game is terrible. You know, you shouldn't be able to see these type of things or do this type of things, and now everybody wants it and everybody buys it and everybody plays it like, nah, this is great. Mm-hmm. They kind of meet in the middle. But I don't know which I'd rather you say my game's going to be trash and then everybody buys it because you have bashed it so much that it's too much of this or too much of that everybody wants it now, and everybody's like, this is great. Screw you.
Yeah. I think that GTA 6, they should be purposely off the walls offensive. Like, it should be so offensive that these people cannot help themselves and just be like, I can't believe this is in there. I can't believe that. And they'll sell trillions and trillions of copies from them whining and complaining. Because nobody likes puritanical jerks. Nobody likes authoritarian people, nanny people telling you what you can. And nobody wants that. And they don't like it either, by the way. Right. They would not respond to the same attitude. Like, if you went to them and you told them the things they like were wrong or bad, they were bad because they liked it, they're bad people because of this, they wouldn't fucking react that well. They do the same thing. But who the hell do you think you are? That's just a natural reaction. 99% of the time when I hear people's opinions, I'm like, who the fuck do you think you are? And hey, you're probably saying that about me right now. I'm nobody. I don't give a shit. You don't have to believe me. I'm just a guy who buys games. But if you're like a company who sells games, maybe you do care about what I think, or maybe you might want to. You know, because I spent a lot of money on it, and you know that might matter to you.
Yeah, maybe your consumer does have a point.
Mario for $10. Tomb Raider would never come out the same as it did on PS1. Hell no. I live for Joe Rants every podcast, never stop. Yeah, well, I will never stop ranting. That is not. Don't worry about that. There's plenty of rants to go. But speaking of which, let's show off some pickups. Show them some stuff. I'll go first, actually, since we're on the topic. Here it is. I got Stellar Blade. So I never buy games for $70. Like, you know this. I've said this before. I bought Final Fantasy VII Rebirth because I really wanted it. But I did buy this game literally for the only reason that the uncensored game is on the disc. So if you guys do care, you know, may not, maybe you don't, and it's totally fine if you don't, by the way. Like, I just want to say this too. Like, one thing I think people make a mistake about is just because you care about something a lot doesn't mean other people have to. And you can't get mad at people for not caring about the shit that you care about. And if you do, you're just going to come off as really obnoxious, and the people will just not like you. And you're not going to change their mind. You're just going to irritate them. So if I'm out there like, you're going to cancel your subscriptions and you have to do this, that's, people will just be like, go fuck yourself. It's a costume. I don't care. And so people should just keep that in mind. It's okay to complain and express yourself, but you can't get mad if other people buy the game or don't buy the game or spend their money how they want to. I don't care. Do whatever you want. Just let you know how I feel about it. I care. So I bought this because if you install this game and you don't install the patches, it's the original game, uncensored. And I actually don't really care as much about the stupid titty costumes being censored, but they censored the gore in the game, the blood and the violence and the gore. And that actually does piss me off because I've said a million times, like, I like that stuff. I'm a weirdo. I like horror movies. I like Tokyo Shock. I like Legend of Rikki-O. I like messed up, effed up, gross, bloody. I like Dead Alive. I like, Brain Dead, and that just gross cannibal Holocaust, whatever you guys. I like it. Okay, so I want it to be gross and I want it to be uncensored. I don't care about the boobs. I want the violence in the game. Like I said, I don't want it. If I buy an M-rated game, I don't want the blood turned on. What is this? 1992? We're playing fucking Mortal Kombat. We doing this shit all over again? Ooh, the blood, the pixels, idiots. So anyway. If you care, you should get that game. And I only bought the day one. I bought it like early because I'm afraid that, it'll get reprinted with the patch. Yeah. And eventually it'll be like one of those things where like, do you have the the original release unpatched or something? Which I don't know if that'll happen, but just in case, I want to have that. So that's why I bought it. I also bought the Sunsoft collection for the Evercade. It's got some decent games on. It's got Mr. Gimmick, Blaster Master Boy, Journey to Silius, Blaster Master, Arrow the Acrobat, and Arabian. Journey to Silius is an amazing NES game. Arrow the Acrobat, that's, I don't know which version of it, if it's SNES or Genesis, but those are fun games too. But really what I wanted is Blaster Master 1, because I love that game. And for Mr. Gimmick. Mr. Gimmick is that unreleased NES game in the West. It only got released in HAL territories, and it's like insanely expensive to get the actual cart. And then it got released on Switch and PS4, but it's like $30 to $40 to get a copy. It might be cheaper now, but it's expensive. And this is $20 for all the games I just said.
Amen.
So Evercade is a great deal. Love Evercade. I also picked up Sword of the Necromancer. I can't remember. I think it was just really cheap, but it looked cool. It's like a top-down 2D Zelda style game. We have a sword, and it looks pretty good. Actually, it looked like a pretty good game. It's a limited run game, and it was pretty cheap. It took forever to come in, though. I bought it off of Amazon. It was like a month and a half till it actually showed up, which I never understand how that happens. And then my last pickup is I got my copy of Death Park on the PS4. So this is the latest release from Limited Rare Games. This was their mystery game. So basically this, I don't know if you're familiar with this company, French, but like they're kind of like a troll company where like they announce their games randomly and their website looks like it was made in 1992. And like it's like, I don't know, it just looks so sketchy, and they like have purposely bad customer service. It's like really funny. I actually love them to death. I think they're the funniest people on the planet, and like I love what they do. And like people constantly will like complain. They'll be like, "Where's my game?" And they'll be like, "Too many people are crying. We've delayed the release 2 more weeks." I'm like, that's so good. They're like, oh man. Like if I owned a company, that's exactly what I would do. I would just troll people to death. I can't help it. But sure. I'm super excited I bought this because one of my goals is to get all horror games on the PS4. And technically this is a horror game.
Absolutely.
And I didn't even know that when I bought it. Like I said, it was just a mystery game. So I was even on the fence of whether or not I should get it. But I'm so glad I did, because I would have been pissed if I found it was a horror game and now I got to drop like $100, $150 to get a copy. You know what I mean? So, yeah. Now, real quick though, I don't know if you guys got a copy of this, but if you did, you have to read the back. Like, if you haven't read the back, this is amazing. I have to read this real quick. Okay, so it just says, in this scary game, you should explore a huge abandoned amusement park with a creepy circus. Are you ready to face the true evil, the scary killer clown? Will you be able to solve all the puzzles that are waiting for you on the path to escape in these horror stories? You will have to play hide and seek with that monster and go through all the hard quests in order to survive throughout the night. Explore a dark amusement lunar park, old abandoned buildings, a horrifying hospital, dark basements, mysterious mazes, a creepy circus. All this scares goosebumps. What the fuck? What the fuck? Feeling you're alone there? Feeling you're alone there? Yeah. In this terrible adventure game, it literally says in this terrible adventure game, which I don't know if they like. What do they mean by that? You won't ever end up being alone because it will always be at your back. Put your attention on secret quests and hidden objects in this dreadful game. The only way to stay alive is to hide first and run away after this massacre. And massacre is spelled wrong. Like, oh my God, dude. Like, everything about this is amazing. It is so poorly written and poorly spelled, and it's got like capital letters in the wrong spot and punctuation in all the wrong places. It is hilarious. So I like legitimately, like, someone purposely made this horribly. And I love it to death. That's what I'm saying. Like, they're the funniest people ever. Dude, it's just so good, dude. Feeling you're alone there?
I can imagine a pitch meeting, and they come in with like here's the description for the back of the case, and they're like, too clean. That kind of makes sense.
Yeah, let's jumble it up a bit, screw it up, mix up some words. I don't know. Either that was written poorly on purpose, or like somebody from another country whose English is like their sixth language wrote it, because it's like it's just
that is fantastically written. In my
dude,
opinion.
It was so good. Like, it was funny too, because I got the game and I'm like, oh, this is cool. And then I'm just reading the back, and I started like crying laughing. I was like, what is this? Oh, so good,
awesome.
man.
So for my pickups,
What you
I
got?
can't think of it. I have like 6 seconds.
No, take your time. In the meantime, hey, look who's back. We don't need him here. We can just keep looking at these pictures. Hey. I think I might just keep these permanently on the show, just in case there's ever like a dull moment and I don't know what to say. I'll be like,
Boobies.
Huh? Yeah. What do you guys think about that, huh? All right.
So as far as my pickups, nothing's actually even exciting. As I said, since I want to actually have Switch games now, I've been grabbing those Walmart $5-10 deals. So I grabbed No Man's Sky, and it's still sealed, of course, because I haven't played it. I got it right before I went out of the country. So I grabbed that.
Dude, like 80% of my games are sealed, so don't apologize to me.
Right. The Among Us Crewmate Edition. I literally saw somebody talk about it. I was like, I just want it because it has the little lenticular thing. So that's cool. Plus, I think I'd actually have fun playing that. And then I got Nier Automata. All these were, I think I paid $30 for all of them. I think they were $10.
Yeah, that's the one that I wish I'd. There was two Switch games that I didn't get. I wanted to get that, and then Dragon Quest Monsters. They had that too, and I didn't get that either. That one hurts because I actually really want that game.
Yeah, I wanted the Dragon's Quest. I also wanted the Harvest Moon that everybody else was able to get, but I wasn't able to get that. So that was that. And then another cool thing I got, one of those cool GameStop things was this huge
hell yeah,
Spider-Man 2 poster that they had in there, and it's actually in 4 parts. I can't even hold all of them up together because
all right, you got to get the last part. I want to see how you do the last part too. This is definitely going in the intro.
Separate. There we go. Yep.
There he is. He's Spider-Man bursting through the middle.
But
all right, we get the idea. That looks cool. I get you. That's pretty awesome.
That was pretty cool. And then the last pickup I had is this neck piece I have on. It's my new logo that I got, and I got it personally made.
Oh, it's sick.
And I was like,
That's
oh yeah,
rad, dude.
that's pretty rad. And
Oh,
this is
yeah.
like really the first time I'm wearing it. I was waiting. Uh, as I said, I was out of the country last week, and my mail got delivered literally the day we got back. I was coming back, and
Mm,
I was checking online. They was like, "Oh, your mail was delivered today," and then I got an email from the company like, "Oh, your piece was delivered," and I was like, "Ooh, wait till I get home." I've been
mm.
waiting. I think I ordered this like 3 weeks ago, and just had been waiting for it to be custom made and come. And I was like, "This is awesome." I just good old Canva logos on a chain is great for me.
That's awesome, dude. Duh. It's like what I hate when I'm out and about and I get a delivery notification. It drives me crazy because I'm just like, oh, that thing's sitting on my porch. It just gives me anxiety. And nobody's ever stolen my shit, but it's like just gives me anxiety. Like just knowing it's sitting there.
Just
I'm like, dude,
it's
why
just
does this always happen?
it's funny. My camera just now just says package. There was a package delivery, and I was like, there. If somebody walks past my house, my camera says package delivered, and I was like, it's nothing there. It's okay. I make sure I watch the camera, but 9 times out of 10, I'm home because I work from home.
Yeah,
So
me too.
then,
It's weird though. I've been working from home like 3 years now, and I don't know about you, but like now if I'm away from my collection for a long time, I get anxiety. Like I
yeah,
really do. Like I'm worried. Like I'm just like, what if someone breaks in? What if my house burns down? If a tornado comes by? Fuck. Like I just get like anxiety, and I never was like that for years, but COVID messed me all up, man. I'm telling you, it gave me like freaking cabin fever and all sorts of weird separation problems. Like I can't even leave my dog for 3 hours. I feel guilty now. I'm like, shit, man. I used to go to work every day and I didn't give a shit. Now I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry. I went to the store, puppy. It's ridiculous, man.
Are you okay? I didn't mean to.
Yeah.
I find myself my friends be like, "French, you do nothing now," and I'd be like, I know. I have a child. I have a daughter now, and I just be like, "But is she okay? Does she need me?" And
Mhm.
she's a daddy's girl, like really, really
Mhm.
bad. So now when I'm away from her, it's like, "Is she okay?" I dropped her off at my in-laws' house earlier, and by the time I got home, I was like, I should call them and make sure she's okay. And I was like, no, I won't. I won't do that. I'll just wait till they call me because I know they're gonna call me.
Mhm.
Yeah, that separation anxiety between this stuff because I'm always like, what if my sub pump floods? What if the basement floods? What if it's too much rain? Oh, what am I gonna do? Huh. Now I feel like I want to lift everything off the floor like a beach house in North Carolina. I don't
Yeah.
know. What to do.
Well, I have a no basement. Nothing goes in my basement that I care about. Like it gets too moldy, it gets too muggy, it can flood. It's just I keep like boxes, like I have, console boxes, controller boxes, stuff like that. I don't display all that crap. I keep it in boxes in my basement, like all sealed up so it doesn't get all messed up. But that's pretty much it. Like no electronics go down there. Nothing that could rust, nothing. Yeah, just
Every-
no.
Everything I love outside of my shoes is down here. It's like
Well,
I
you have a
got
furnished basement? Because I don't have a furnished basement. I have like
yeah,
a
yeah. Like when I bought the house, I was like, the basement's completely finished. We're buying this house because every other
yeah.
house in the neighborhood had
That's
a
different.
basement. So I was like, yeah, I'm definitely. But however, I did while I was looking for houses. The house I saw before this one
Mm-hmm.
had like a foot and a half of water in it, and it was completely finished. Like, and I was like, huh. And it was like, yeah, but you'd be surprised that we're still getting offers like 25,000 over asking price. And I was like, I tell you who won't give you that asking price. This guy. Nope.
No, I don't fuck around with water problems. Hell no, dude. No, 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 no.
I was
That
like,
is
man,
like a never ending nightmare, man.
if I wanted a large pool, I could understand that, but not in the basement. That's okay.
Cool. Well, we're a little over 2 hours. I think we're going to wrap it up. That was a really fun time, man.
Absolutely. I enjoyed myself. It's been a while since I got to talk to people and they didn't make fun of me. So
Oh, come on, man. I'm the one who gets made fun of around here. Don't worry about that. So why don't you tell everybody where they can find you again?
yes, everybody, you can find me on X, Twitter, Instagram,
Mhm.
YouTube at BlakRanger. all one word, no C in black. If you're looking on Facebook, just put in French Bryant, just like Kobe. Two of them will pop up, and one of them will be me. The other one will be my father. I mean, you can follow him if you want to.
He's a cool dude too.
He's pretty cool. You'll see a lot of like grass cuttings from him doing landscaping and everything. But if you want to see like this type of stuff, follow the BlakRanger. I've always got some Power Ranger stuff on, so follow me. I'd love to interact with everybody.
Yep, down in the I was actually a good host today, and if you look down in the description, I actually have his Twitter, his YouTube, and his Instagram, not his Facebook. That's because I just don't like Facebook. I'm biased. But yeah, so check him out, guys. He's got great content, and yeah, man, thanks for coming on tonight. That was a lot of fun.
Absolutely, I appreciate it. I enjoyed myself. You've been a gracious host. You kept me, and I'm pretty sure the people entertained. This was great.
Cool, man. Yeah, we'll definitely do it again sometime. It'll be a lot of fun. We'll have to do a like a subgenre episode next. We'll do just wrestling games or something, or something like that. Like I really do want to do a wrestling game episode, like real bad. But I feel like there's gonna be like 40 people who want to come on that one, so I have to work it all out because everybody loves that shit. So, all right, man. Well, yeah, take it easy, everybody. Hope you have a great night. Thanks for watching, and see you guys on Saturday. Bye.
You found the coolest place to be, the PlayStation collecting sets, and come on, won't you stay with me? Welcome to the show. Gather around the boys and girls, collectors from around the world. Let's show the people what they need to know. Welcome to the show. Gonna talk to guests, only got the best. Gonna put their knowledge to the test. Gonna laugh and eat, gonna miss a treat. Gonna show you things you've never seen. Gonna sing the song to the break of dawn. Gonna rock this party all night long. So come on everybody, let me see you dance. Get yourself ready for one more chance.